RTU is an organization dedicated to care for the perceived basic needs and priorities of the poorest, especially the women and children, and empower them towards their overall development and self-reliance. It has worked in the Theni and Dindigul district of Tamil Nadu in South India for over 28 years. On the left is Brother James, the founder of RTU, who began it in 1978 with 4 abandoned children. But the charity has now grown, as their mission statement says, to serve the poorest in our area, especially the women and children, the needy, the sick, the homeless, the unemployable, those in need of houses, water, etc., by whatever means are needed and suitable and possible, according to the health needs and priorities of the people. Mr. Gomarti Murugan is the director in charge of the day-to-day running of the whole organization. Mr. Kamaraj is the Director of Education responsible for the 15 preschools, the 3 primaries and the high school. He is also responsible for the support we give to the state education system in the neighbourhood. James is in charge of the outreach program, and Lata is in overall charge of the children's villages. RTU's mission in its children's villages is to provide the best possible care and support to children from difficult circumstances, preventing abuse, restoring dignified living conditions, and promoting children's rights through a family care system. RTU has built 4 villages for children, with over 1,000 children currently under RTU's direct care. This is the latest village, Sirumala. A typical house comprises kitchen, washroom, living room, and a veranda. These houses have a foster mother who is usually destitute or widowed early, and up to 8 orphan children who live as a family. The idea of living as families is to create as near as possible the environment from which they came, so that they have brothers and sisters, as well as a mother to play with and to form bonds with and to help each other. RTU feels this gives them a sense of belonging. This is foster mother Jaya Mary and her family at Ambuilam Children's Village. She has 2 children of her own who are 9 and 10 years old. Jaya was deserted by her husband and so applied to work with her children as a foster mother at RTU. Children come to RTU for many different reasons, as Jaya's family shows. This is Vignesh, who is 8 years old. His father died of cancer and his mother was very ill and needed to have an operation. She asked RTU to take Vignesh and his sister Saranya in. Both were placed with Jaya. They were with RTU for a year until their mother recovered and was able to take them back. Another child in the family, seen here preparing to leave for school, is Kusalya, who is 10 years old. Her father died of AIDS and her mother is HIV positive and taking antiretroviral treatment, and is unable to manage looking after her child. The youngest in Jaya's family is baby Harish, seen here in Jaya's arms as she prepares the meal. Harish's father felt that the boy was not his child and so rejected him. The mother gave him to RTU. In September 2007, he was adopted through RTU by a childless couple. RTU has hostels for the older boys and girls, which are within the villages. The children move here when they are adolescents. They sleep and eat here, and are encouraged towards an independent way of living. Once they complete school, they are placed in colleges to continue their professional studies. RTU recently built a new girls' hostel, which is called Josephine. This has enabled RTU to take more children into the villages. A multi-faith opening ceremony was held with the girls who would be living there. After breakfast in their hostel, the senior girls go to RTU's high school nearby. Followed by the younger children, also going to school. The mothers of the families in the children's villages do the chores, washing and cleaning as well as attending outreach programs of AIDS awareness and care, as you will see in the section on outreach programs. A free lunch is provided by RTU every day to preschool children, to the schools and to the elderly. In the evenings after school, the children play in playgrounds provided by RTU in the villages. There are slides and swings for children of all ages. Sometimes there are dance performances after the evening prayer. Children leave RTU's villages when they are married or when they are placed in decent jobs. Many of the children are now working as doctors, nurses, engineers, teachers, managers, consultants, lab technicians, and carpenters. The education provided at RTU is intended to contribute in a holistic development of poor and marginalized children by providing opportunities for quality education in a child-friendly environment for those in the children's villages and in the neighbouring villages too. At RTU there are 11 preschools, or balwadis as they are also called. These have the added benefit of enabling single mothers to work. RTU also provides the children with a free lunch and supervised play. This is the young children going to school together. RTU runs 3 primary schools where the basics of numeracy and literacy in both Tamil and Roman script are taught, as well as other subjects. They too are provided with a free lunch and a playground. RTU also has a secondary high school of education for both boys and girls. It has a 100% success rate in secondary school leaving certificates in the last 3 years. These girls are greeting Brother James, who sits waiting for the children every day. The high school has a biology lab, a chemistry lab, and a physics lab, and teaches arts as well as languages. The children study up to their exams, which gives them admittance into institutions of further or higher education. Then it is time to go home. The quality of education that RTU provides and the qualifications which so many of the children achieve are a real passport to integration into society. RTU has many different outreach programs helping people within the community in 26 villages within the Thaini and Dindigul districts. The program has 3 main aims. Firstly, to reduce mother and infant mortality rates and to provide primary medicine to the surrounding villages. Secondly, to improve the employment possibilities of poor families through training and self-help groups. And finally, to provide housing and safe drinking water for deprived communities. RTU runs nutrition outreach programs in neighbourhood villages. Babies are regularly weighed to check for malnutrition, and nutritional supplements are distributed. Mother and child health is also implemented through women's groups who have been trained in basic medical and midwifery skills by RTU. RTU has a dispensary which provides free medicine to those in neighbouring villages who are unable to afford medications, as well as to the children in RTU's own villages. In addition, there is a clinic to provide medical care, including immunisation, antenatal care and dentistry. Serious cases are referred to appropriate specialists. RTU also has a mobile clinic to go to some of the remote villages who do not have access to medical care. RTU have set up 79 microcredit societies in the surrounding villages, as this enables the women to save and invest in a sustainable future. Meetings are held for the women with Brother James, the Assistant Director at RTU, and other staff members present. These meetings give the opportunity to discuss and offer advice on any problems or issues that the women may be facing. RTU provides training in basket weaving and garment making, which gives the poorer villagers an opportunity and skill to earn money for themselves. RTU provides home care and sponsorship to those like Mr. Raja, who is an asthma and TB patient. He has 5 children, and they live in extreme poverty because he is unable to work. RTU provides him with monthly assistance. RTU also helps people by building low-cost housing. Mrs. Chinate's husband died from alcohol abuse. RTU helped her by building her a house. Francis Xavier's thatched house is typical of many of the poorer village houses, which allow in snakes, rainwater, and are insecure. Francis receives a monthly allowance from RTU and has applied for RTU to build her a house. Among the poorest in these villages, many cannot afford to look after and feed their elderly. This woman was forced to live outdoors in her village. In the outreach program, there is financial aid, clothes, and nutrition for the abandoned elderly. A free midday meal is also provided to them. RTU builds houses for the elderly, or provides them with a room. RTU bores wells in the surrounding villages to provide remote villages with access to safe drinking water. Brother James successfully divines for water, in this case for the new girls' hostel. RTU has handloom and batik centres initially created to provide work for the large numbers of unemployed in the area. These started with local orders, but now the centres supply internationally, providing more employment as well as some income for RTU's program. To provide the materials needed for RTU's housing program, a cement products unit has been set up, which also provides employment. This makes the breeze blocks and doors, as well as tiles and cement slabs. They use local materials and utilize granite dust, not river sand, which can harm the environment. RTU is cooperating with the state government in its efforts to halt the march of HIV/AIDS in the state, particularly in the Theni district. To achieve this, RTU runs HIV/AIDS awareness programs in the high school and in villages within a 25-kilometer radius. Here, a senior AIDS doctor from Madurai teaches the mothers from the children's villages how to care for the affected children in case of small injuries or illness. The doctor also gives regular checkups to the HIV-infected children at the children's villages. RTU provides support and home care for families infected and affected by HIV/AIDS. Sumarthi and her husband Mr. Murugan are both HIV positive. He finds it difficult to get work and so lives in his brother's house. He gets assistance from RTU for food and for other monthly needs. Those with AIDS attend the monthly review meetings at RTU, and their spouse may have one-to-one counselling in their home. Mrs. Bothmani's husband died of AIDS. She is 35 years old and receives AIDS and HIV counselling on a one-to-one basis with RTU staff, in the house where she lives with her mother. Those with HIV/AIDS are treated at the Miriam Dean Hospice, run by nuns with assistance from RTU. The hospice provides nursing from the highly trained nuns and visits from the specialist doctors. Medication provided by the state is collected from Madurai. This woman lost her husband to AIDS and so decided to help look after the infected children at the hospital. Children of all ages, like Lakshmi Priya, who is 10 years old, and this baby, who was only 10 days old when they lost their parents to AIDS. RTU is one of the few organizations who will help HIV/AIDS patients. RTU takes in children like these as well as adults from a much larger catchment area in this new and growing problem. As you can see, RTU has a wide range of activities, but its overriding priority is the health, education, and happiness of the children.